Before dawn, Pakistan's seafood export chain begins inside doorways, with workers paid by the piece. By night, one working day exposes why the value keeps moving elsewhere. Pakistan's streets run on hands that formal payrolls barely record. Fish cleaners, porters, loom workers, vendors, brickmakers, and drivers turn skill and muscle into food, cloth, shelter, and trade. Yet peace rates, debt, rising prices, polluted water, and insecure homes strip each payment before it can build a buffer. I want to understand how a country can depend so heavily on labor, it rewards so lightly. In this video, we follow one working day across Pakistan to trace where the money goes and why longer hours still fail to secure enough. Living in Pakistan, how the poorest get through a day. The boats return lighter to Ibrahim Haidari. Thinner catches, longer fuel-burning trips, and polluted water reduce what a dawn's work brings home. Korangi Creek sets the timetable. Crews move by tide, not clock, preparing nets, diesel engines, ice, and baskets before sunrise. The mangroves are not scenery at the edge of this trade. They shelter young fish and shellfish, tying the condition of the creek directly to future work. Older fishermen remember richer water close to shore. Sewage, industrial effluent, outside fishing pressure, and habitat loss now push small crews farther out, where each trip burns more diesel. When a catch falls, the loss does not stop at the boat. Owners, crew members, auction workers, and fish sellers all take a smaller return from the same working day. Ibrahim Haidari overturns the idea that environmental protection belongs to comfortable people. Here, dirty water arrives as debt, reduced meals, and fewer paid days. Skill can read the tide, mend the net, and preserve the catch. It cannot force fish back into damaged water. Before Karachi fully wakes, labor has already begun, but longer hours cannot repair the source of the wage. When Sehwan's pilgrim crowd thins, the town's flower sellers, drivers, cooks, and porters feel it before their bills do. Around the 13th century shrine of Lal Shahbaz Calendar, the pilgrim calendar sets income for flower sellers, tea makers, porters, drivers, and lodging workers. By dusk, flowers and chadars pass through tiled entrances while kettles, kitchens, and engines work outside. This is devotion with a supply chain. Drivers bring pilgrims, vendors turn small purchases into household income, and porters earn one small payment at a time. Langar does what the market cannot. Donations, grain, fuel, and volunteer labor become meals for strangers, offered as duty rather than sale. On certain evenings, the mall is worship, not entertainment. It gathers the crowd, but every stall outside still depends on how many pilgrims arrive. Busy periods lift sails and fill rooms. They also press water, sanitation, movement, and security, forcing a small town to absorb sudden surges. Then the crowd thins while rent, food, fuel, and debt do not. Hands that served thousands must stretch a smaller day's earnings across the same household needs. When the calendar empties, langar may still feed strangers, but vendors and drivers carry the quiet week into rent, fuel, and debt. Water leaves the Indus for distant fields. Beside the barrage, fishing families live with what that control changes. Completed in 1932, its 66 gates regulate water into 7 canals, serving a vast agricultural region. This is engineering on the scale of a farming economy. The river is measured, divided, and sent outward so distant fields can produce. But the same command over water reaches into nets and cooking pots. Managed flows can alter fish movement, fishing access, and seasonal catches. The barrage has not erased the older river economy. Boats still cross to sandbars, nets serve fishing settlements, and Sad Bellow stands midstream. When catches shrink, a skilled fisher does not simply work harder and recover the loss. Families ferry passengers, carry loads, repair equipment, or take day labor to patch the gap. That extra work protects the next meal, not the next season. A poor household has little power over gate schedules, fish movement, or access to the channel. The barrage carries 2 truths at once. It spreads water across farmland, yet concentrates part of the environmental and economic cost among people who live directly from the river. Sukkur and Rory expose the bargain. The Indus feeds distant fields, while fishing families count what remains after the river is put to work. The brightest goods in Shahi Bazaar carry some of its thinnest wages. Along 2 kilometers from Paka Kila to the Naval Rai Clock Tower, the sale price rises in public, while finishing work stays hidden inside homes. The chain begins far from the jewelry counter. Workshops heat and shape glass, then workers cut and join rings before batches pass to home-based finishers. Much of the final coloring, decoration, sorting, and packing is done by women paid by the piece. Broken or rejected bangles reduce earnings that were narrow from the start. Gas or electricity interruptions cool a furnace and stop the workshop. Down the chain, a household finisher waits without wages, even though the delay was never hers to control. Wholesalers and retailers can spread that disruption across many batches. One household cannot. It carries the shock into food bills and the next day's work. By the time wedding shoppers see the bangles, heat, repetitive handwork, breakage, and subcontracting have vanished behind rows of color. The counter shows beauty, not the division of reward. Shahi Bazaar stays bright into the day, but its shine rests on labor kept out of sight. The finer the bangle becomes, the harder it is to accept how little may remain for the woman who finished it. A brick leaves Kasur hard and uniform, but the labor behind it is paid by an unstable count. South of Lahore, piece rate workers earn by output rather than a fixed shift, and families may live beside the kilns. The chain is long and physical. Clay is prepared, pressed into wooden molds, turned through drying rows, stacked for firing, then loaded after the kiln. Every stage adds weight to the count. Heat, smoke, dust, and repetitive lifting stay with the worker, while tractors move the finished bricks outward. Rain can ruin unfired rows and erase expected income. The worker absorbs a weather shock before a brick has even reached the kiln. Then comes peshki, an advance that can become debt. When records are uncertain and pay depends on output, the balance can remain after another full day. Bonded coercion is documented and must be named plainly. Kilns and contracts vary, but advanced debt, opaque accounts, and restricted freedom to leave are the warning signs that matter. Illegal child labor is also documented, though Punjab law bars children under 14 from kiln work. That line matters because a family workplace cannot cancel a child's legal protection. Here, bricks are counted one by one, while each unpaid balance makes leaving harder. The 2018 clearance around Empress Market removed more than 1,000 shops and stalls to open sightlines and cut congestion. The monument reappeared, many workers lost the place that made it a market. The limestone clock tower hall has stood since 1889. Built to command the district with stone, arches, and height. Restoration made the structure visible again. It also exposed how little protection surrounded many livelihoods. Sadar remains a working market, not a heritage display. Families compare prices, replace costly ingredients, and stretch limited cash across another week. Yet the law does not weigh every claim equally. Licensed tenants, subtenants, mobile vendors, and pavement sellers can work side by side while standing on entirely different legal ground. The question I keep returning to is plain and hard: who gets to remain when a city makes itself cleaner and grander? A stall can serve daily needs 1 year, then become an obstruction under a single order. The building gains open space. A worker without a lease loses the place where suppliers, skill, and customers met. By late morning, the market is earning its keep again, but its hardest bargain is unchanged. Those who rent the street with sweat can lose a livelihood faster than they can rebuild one. Port built for global trade can expand while the fishing town beneath it loses room to work. Under co-e battle, handmade boats, fish auctions, and old bazaars now share Gwadar's peninsula with a deep water port, expressway, airport, and free zone projects. At Padi Zar, wooden hulls are still shaped by hand. Around the fish harbor, nets, engines, carpentry, and auctions bind household income to access to the Arabian Sea. Gwadar remained under Omani rule until 1958, and its Balakh seafaring identity long predates today's construction. The projects have changed roads and raised pressure on land. But concrete does not automatically transfer power. Many fishermen still contend with difficult sea access, outside trawlers, smaller catches, and longer trips that burn more fuel before a boat earns anything. Farther water means more diesel, more time and more cost for families already working on narrow margins. A modern harbor can increase movement without widening local opportunity. Pakistan's working day closes here after a chain of labor that keeps streets and markets supplied. Gwadar brings the argument to its edge. Movement is not reward. If fishermen travel farther yet, find no route into the new economy, development has not included Old Town, it has only passed through it. The workers who keep Pakistan's capital clean can live only a few streets from wealth and still wait longest for basic infrastructure. In Islamabad's F74 sector, France Colony sits beside high-value property near Jinnah supermarket, but narrow lanes and open drains mark a sharp break in public provision. Before dawn, sanitation, domestic, security, and service workers leave for the capital's wealthier sectors. After dark, the same lanes receive them home. Their labor cleans streets, guards buildings, runs households, and supports commerce. The city's polished surface depends on work rooted in a settlement it has not fully recognized. France Colony's name misleads. The compact informal settlement is predominantly Christian, though not exclusively, with churches and community-led health and service efforts filling gaps left by weaker provision. The hardest pressure lies beneath the homes. Informal tenure means families may improve a roof, drain, or room without secure rights to the land carrying that investment. That uncertainty slows long-term upgrades and keeps belonging conditional on some of Islamabad's most valuable ground. Physical distance is small, civic distance is not. The contradiction is exact. Essential work earns daily access to wealthy sectors, not secure standing in the capital. France Colony supplies the capital's working day, while the capital's own infrastructure still arrives late. Langar removes the price from a meal, not the pressure from the market around it. At Data Darbar near Bati Gate, donations feed visitors to the shrine of the 11th century Sufi Ali al-Hujwiri. Donations become ingredients and fuel. Cooks prepare large quantities, volunteers serve, and cleaners reset the space for the next group. The meal carries no charge at the point of use. For visitors and people with few guarantees, the shrine becomes a working food supply line. That matters because an empty stomach does not wait for official support. The Langar closes part of that gap through a routine built on giving, cooking, and repeated service. Yet the same footfall sustains another economy. Flower sellers, tea stalls, transport workers, and small shops earn only when pilgrims keep arriving. Crowded evenings can lift a day's income. A thinner stream can cut it at once. Rent, supplies, and household costs do not fall with it. This is the contradiction at Data Darbar. Donated food reduces immediate pressure, while nearby workers remain exposed to demand they cannot control. Inside the Langar, a meal does not depend on purchasing power. Outside, a seller's next meal may depend on one more customer. A market can be packed shoulder to shoulder and still hold very little buying power. At Hussein Agahi Bazaar, wedding cloth fills the lanes while families bargain over every meter, reduce the order, or leave it for another day. This is not a small retail pocket. Around Multan's Shrine Hill, the bazaar links visitors and city households with rural producers, wholesalers, and shopkeepers. That reach creates the crowd. It does not divide the value evenly. New clothing sits beside stalls carrying second-hand and surplus stock. One serves the ceremony people want, the other meets the money they actually have. The same pressure runs behind the embroidery. Rural women send handwork through relatives, agents, or retailers, yet often have no control over the markup added at the final counter. Machines copy the look faster and more cheaply. Hand workers then accept lower rates, wait longer for orders, and absorb the lost time at home. Sellers are squeezed as well. Rent, transport, and unsold stock keep charging even when a crowded afternoon produces more questions than purchases. By evening, the lanes still blaze with color, but many families have bought less and many embroiderers still wait for a fair return. Before Quetta sees daylight, Hazarganji is already deciding what an orchard's harvest will be worth. Crates of Balochistan's apples and grapes meet sacks of potatoes here, with weighing, rough grading, and truck loading compressed into the dark hours before sunrise. This is not a shortage of effort. Porters, drivers, growers, and traders push the crop forward before heat, delay, and bruising strip away its price. The weak point lies beyond the muscle. Limited cold storage means perishable. Produce cannot wait safely, while growers seek a stronger offer. That single constraint shifts power. A farmer who must sell today bargains against a middleman who can wait, combine loads, and control the next buyer. Distance tightens the trap. Long routes, expensive fuel, rough handling, and late trucks turn food into damaged stock, while every hour cuts the producer's share. Hazarganji also carries the memory of April 2019, when Hazara Shia workers and shoppers were killed here. For that community, entering an essential market has carried a risk beyond price or pay. Market life continues beside that memory. Shoulders under sacks, hands rebuilding crates, engines hauling harvest outward. The labor is essential, but workers control neither the clock, the road, nor the final price. Every crate can move through Hazarganji while the grower's bargaining time runs out. Without cold storage and reliable transport, effort cannot wait for a better price. Residents built much of Orangi themselves, yet many still lack secure ground beneath the homes and workshops they raised. Much of Orangi town was raised brick by brick after the Karachi Development Authority laid it out in the 1960s. Morning work starts inside the housing itself. Sewing machines, repair benches, Banarsi-style looms, embroidery frames, and recycling sacks turn rooms into production floors. This saves rent and travel, but removes the boundary around the working day. Orders, cooking, childcare, repairs, and sleep compete for the same floor and hours. Orange's strongest proof of local capacity lies underground. Beginning in 1980, the Orange pilot project helped households map, finance, and build lane-level sewers. Residents could organize local lines and pay together. Major drains and citywide services still required public authority and resources beyond one lane. That is the hard limit of self-help. Organization can lay pipe and keep workshops running. It cannot grant land rights, restrain rising rents, cut utility costs, or remove demolition fears. Uncertain tenure presses against every small gain, leaving little margin for illness or repairs. Orange lacks neither skill nor discipline. When home is also factory, more labor can build a city without securing a life. One Karachi address can carry goods across the city and still close doors for the people who live behind it. In Lahore, the lanes around Leah Market drive daily trade. Yet the neighborhood's old stigma can still reduce a resident's chance of work elsewhere. By midday, handcarts and porters are moving food and merchandise through lanes shaped by the harbor, railways, factories, and migration. This is not marginal activity. It is part of Karachi's working circulation. Yet the pay follows movement, not readiness. Daily wage porters earn when goods shift and wait, without pay when trade slows, so congestion and demand decide what the day returns. The label attached to Lahore misses most of this discipline. Shops open, families buy and cook, repair work continues, and traders keep the market supplied. Small spaces also carry another kind of work. Rooftop gyms, street pitches, football teams, and boxing clubs turn spare ground into routine, coaching, and control. Balakh music, language, and cooking widen the record further. They show a harbor district shaped by family and trade, not only by years of instability and territorial pressure. Karachi needs Lahore's labor when goods move, yet its address can block work elsewhere. Training and trade push back daily. One weak monsoon can cut harvests, weaken herds, and push Tharparkar families towards seasonal migration. Because groundwater is often saline, families depend on deep wells and covered tankas that hold scarce rain. Around Chanra mud and thatch houses, water sets the day's order. Women and girls often carry much of that load before food, animals, and craft work can continue. Good monsoon supports millet, guar, fodder, and grazing. A weak one cuts harvests, thins pasture, and pushes family members towards seasonal migration. Goats, cattle, and camels are more than livestock. They provide food, reproduce, and hold value that can be sold when a household comes under pressure. This is survival managed as a chain. Rain fills storage. Stored water sustains families and herds. The herd protects savings when the land produces less. Thari embroidery adds another line of cash beyond agriculture. Finished pieces reach buyers beyond the desert, but middlemen often set the terms. Producers without transport, storage, or direct access to buyers cannot easily set the price. More needlework or animal care can create value without returning enough income. The desert does not lack skill or labor. It lacks reliable rain and fair terms for turning stored water, animals, and handwork into security. Bus doors open, and a few minutes of foot traffic can make a seller's day. One diversion can erase it. Along Peshawar's Grand Trunk Road, Hashnagri's bus rapid transit station feeds customers to juice presses, snack trays, repair counters, and hand carts. A delay or diversion can cut that trade at once. Small traders read the street with precision. Shade protects fruit, visibility wins attention, walking direction sets demand, and a few seconds before boarding can decide a sale. Some rent narrow shop fronts. Others carry their stock on carts and renegotiate pavement space each morning, before the first rush gives the corner its value. This old gateway district is not an economy frozen in tradition. Graduates, skilled repairers, migrants, and working-class families enter small trade because formal employment cannot absorb them all. The word independent sounds stronger than the bargain itself. Rent, water, electricity, weather, and inventory remain with the seller whether the crowd arrives or not. Heat can warm unsold fruit and prepared food. A strong passenger surge may clear a tray or fill a repair counter, but no wage protects the quiet hour. The shortage of formal jobs is pushed onto one pair of shoulders. At Hashnagri, independence means owning the risk. This city can save its walls and still empty the homes behind them. Lahore's walled city compresses homes, workshops, schools, mosques, warehouses, and shops into roughly 2.5 square kilometers. By dusk, paid work and family life share the same aging structures: sewing, packing, and storage by day, cooking and sleep at night. Restoration around Delhi Gate, Shahi Hammam, and the route toward Wazir Khan Mosque has repaired facades and brought visitors into residential lanes. Guides, food sellers, craftspeople, and repair workers can gain from that traffic. But attention changes what each doorway is worth. A street frontage may earn more as a cafe, guest house, or shop than as part of a crowded home. Residents still carry the less marketable burden: leaking roofs, shared walls, overloaded utilities, and waste that must move through lanes too narrow for ordinary vehicles. Motorcycles and handcarts fight for access beneath carved wooden balconies, while warehouses press against family rooms. Restoration succeeds only if housing and basic services improve with the facades. Otherwise, higher land value turns repair into pressure to leave. After a full day, the old city remains a working city because people still cook, repair, trade, and sleep behind its walls. Push those households out, and heritage becomes a backdrop. Some of Faisalabad's industrial force fits inside a single residential room. In Ghulam Mohammadabad, 1 or 2 power looms can run from morning deep into night, feeding a textile chain that reaches exporters far beyond the lane. The roar suggests a large factory. The reality is a ladder of exporters, bigger mills, subcontractors, small workshops and families taking orders with little protection. Gray cloth leaves these rooms unfinished. It may still pass through bleaching, dyeing, printing, or finishing before a buyer sees the final product. Value gathers at every step, but risk settles near the bottom. Small operators carry electricity bills, machine repairs, rent, debt, and canceled orders. A power cut stops the loom at once. The meter may pause. The other costs do not. Workers catch broken threads and guard cloth against flaws, while distant orders set the pace. Informal agreements offer little shelter when shifts disappear, power fails, or the machine stops. Export demand changes without warning. Fewer shifts, slower payments, more idle hours. Cloth advances toward larger markets while certainty fails to travel back. That is the hard measure of Ghulam Mohammadabad. A loom may work all day and into the night, but the order has more security than the worker guarding every thread. Raja Bazaar can move more goods by clearing the pavement, yet that same clearance can erase the smallest place to earn. From Fawara Chowk toward Hamilton Road, established wholesalers, rented shops, handcarts, and sheet-covered stalls compete for the same narrow access to customers. Cloth, books, timber, jewelry, spices, and household goods claim separate lanes. Porters and delivery vehicles bind them into one supply chain. Congestion has a price. Slow loading raises delivery costs. Blocked fronts lose trade, and stalled handcarts tighten the street. The renovated stretch near Hamilton Road answers with traffic restrictions, pedestrian space, repaired facades, and buried utilities. Walking becomes easier. Movement becomes cleaner. But order is never neutral here. A leased shop can absorb closure more easily than a hawker whose business fits on one cloth. The issue is not whether the bazaar needs order, but who receives usable space afterward. Formal stall can protect a livelihood, but higher rent can exclude the seller it was meant to organize. Move a handcart away from foot traffic and its income falls. Raja Bazaar does not illustrate poverty. It is a contest over pavement rights. Faster movement can strengthen trade while removing its lowest rung. The last stretch of Lahore's food supply crosses human shoulders. Behind Delhi Gate, trucks reach the edge of Akbari Mandi, but rice, pulses, chilies, and spices must cross the final narrow stretch by hand. Before Lahore's shops settle into the day, this old wholesale district is already sorting food for the city. Sacks are weighed, checked, stacked, divided, and sent toward neighborhood retailers and kitchens. The market handles freight inside lanes that modern trucks cannot enter. Every tight corner forces another transfer, another lift, another delay. Traders need fast turnover and dry storage. Porters need the next load, because each sack means income while heat, dust, and repeated lifting remain theirs to absorb. That arrangement shifts the physical cost onto porters. The grain may pass through several hands, but the hardest distance is measured across shoulders, steps, and cramped stairs. A blocked lane does not stop Lahore from needing food. Hand carts, balance, muscle, and hours of repeated effort keep the supply moving. Before Lahore buys dinner, these staples have crossed shoulders and handcarts. Akbari Mandi feeds a modern city because porters pay for narrow logistics with a full day of physical strain. Before Karachi wakes, some of its least visible workers have already handled the catch that will feed a much larger trade. At Mashar Colony, seafood starts gaining value before dawn, while many of the hands cleaning it remain at the lowest paid end of the chain. Diesel boats unload the night's catch beside the fish harbor. Ice drains beside handcarts. Then shrimp and fish pass into doorways where families peel, grade, and sort them for piece rate pay. Those flexible hours can fit around childcare. They also push skilled Bengali and Burmese origin families, alongside others, into work where each cleaned piece earns little and delayed payment is hard to challenge. The chain is longer and stronger above them: crews, auction buyers, processors, cold stores, and exporters. Each transfer adds another claim on the final price. The worker's name disappears quickly. By the time seafood reaches a distant buyer, labor inside these lanes has become an unmarked cost. Weak drainage and limited services add expense to low pay. Insecure identity papers and uncertain land tenure also narrow the power to dispute rates or plan beyond the next order. Machar Colony carries Karachi's seafood economy, but not its reward. Work begins before sunrise. The profit leaves before it can secure the lane. Winter can close Khyber's roads and fields, but not its daily work. At roughly 4,300 meters, in Himachal Pradesh, India, thick earthen walls, flat roofs, livestock pens, and tiny barley and pea plots all answer the same cold, dry pressure. Pakistan's working day journey now gives way to a high-altitude Quetta, where the same lens turns to how climate and terrain organize daily labor across Asia. Snowmelt channels govern the calendar. Water released at the right moment feeds planting and irrigation. A weak flow can narrow the season before the crop has a chance. Summer concentrates the work: farming, grazing, construction, homestays, hikers, and motorcycles. Winter contracts movement around stored food, fodder, heating, and the daily care of animals. The surrounding Khyber Wildlife Sanctuary supports blue sheep and snow leopard habitat. Wildlife can bring visitor income, while livestock losses place another cost on households. Architecture carries the same logic. Whitewashed homes cluster behind thick walls and flat roofs, while livestock pens keep animals, fodder, and daily labor close. Nothing here treats height as a performance. Khyber turns thin air, scarce water, and winter into walls, fodder, shared work, and a steady village routine. One of Asia's most revered peaks holds its power by refusing the usual prize, a summit. Mount Kailash rises about 6,600 meters, yet 4 traditions center the journey on a circuit around it, not a climb to the top. Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, and Bon traditions all hold the mountain sacred. Their shared geography does not erase their different rules. It gives each movement around Kailash weight. The Kora begins near Darchin and runs for roughly 50 kilometers through open valleys, monasteries, mani stones, and exposed camps. Distance is only the first test. At Drolmala, the route rises above 5,600 meters. Thin air, cold, wind, and rough ground turn each step into physical work. Many Hindu and Buddhist pilgrims move clockwise. Bon practitioners traditionally circle the other way, while some pilgrims advance through repeated full-body prostrations, making ritual restraint visible in the body. No circuit is supported by devotion alone. Porters, animal handlers, drivers, cooks, and lodging workers carry supplies, manage fatigue, and keep the route functioning. Manasarovar and Rakshastal extend that sacred geography outward. Kailash stays central because the full journey goes around it, and no summit is claimed. Vanished Lake now stands as a forest of clay towers across the dry ground of western Tibet. Sediment laid down in an ancient basin was lifted, exposed, then cut by runoff, freezing and thawing in wind. Zanda, also called Sada, is not a range of solid walls. Its fluted ridges and gullies are softer earth held in steep, fragile forms. The forces that shape them have not stopped. Each season of runoff, frost, and wind continues to strip material away. Roads negotiate unstable slopes and deep gullies. Fields and villages survive only where water reaches flatter ground. Human history occupies these corridors too. Tholing Monastery and the ruins of Saparang belong to the former Guj kingdom, which flourished here around 1,000 years ago. Sit's remains share the same narrow ground as village plots, tracks, and footpaths. Settlement has always had to accept the limits set by sediment and water. The vertical record holds ancient lake layers, erosion across their faces, and human structures fitted between them. Low light reveals folds. It did not build them. Zanda makes time physical. Water laid down the earth, climate cut it into towers, and people occupied ground left between. A road at about 4,500 meters does more than cross a ridge. It carries traffic from one Himalayan climate into another. Kunzum Pass is the seasonal threshold between Lahore and Spiti, open only for part of the year. The climb from the Chandra Valley and Batal is built against loose rock, runoff channels, snow patches, and repeated switchbacks. Beyond the crest, the road drops toward Lozar and Kaza. Every vehicle depends on the same narrow corridor. Motorcycles, jeeps, buses, supply vehicles, and road crews must share ground that meltwater can cut across within hours. Cloud can erase visibility, and fresh snow can cover the track. Distance matters less here than whether the mountain allows the next kilometer to remain open. At the pass, prayer flags and chortens mark more than a stopping point. Many drivers pause at the shrine and circle it before committing to the descent. That ritual sits beside hard route engineering. The road must carry people and supplies across unstable high ground, then yield when weather closes the corridor. Beyond the crest, greener slopes yield to Spiti's dry mineral ground, and altitude tightens every breath. Kunzum is not merely a road, it is a physical threshold into another climate. At 3,500 meters, a sacred lake sits inside a belt of spruce and fir, not the bare plateau many expect from Tibet. Baisum Lake, or Draksum So, replaces dry wind and exposed earth with mountain runoff, cloud, forest, and shifting green-blue water. This is the forested country of Nainchi, where a different high-altitude climate softens the usual image of Tibet. Snow peaks still impose the scale, but trees descend almost to the shore. The lake is sacred in the Nyingma tradition of Tibetan Buddhism. On an island reached by footbridge, Sadzong Temple gives ritual life a fixed center within the water. That sacred geography is not sealed away. Villages, fields, boats, and shore paths occupy the same ground as boardwalks, viewing platforms, and organized visitor facilities. The tension is quiet but clear. Tourism opens access and concentrates movement, while rural work and religious practice continue beside it without becoming decoration. Weather still sets the terms. Rain and runoff can cloud the water, close views, and alter access faster than the shore's calm appearance suggests. What matters here is the move away from the public platforms toward village lanes and the Temple Island. Bassam Lake's power comes from a shared shore, forest, work, and worship held together without spectacle. Key Monastery climbs the hill in stacked white rooms, using the slope it cannot flatten. Key Monastery stands above the Spiti River at more than 4,100 meters, its white rooms stacked upward because the slope offers no broad, level platform. The irregular shape records rebuilding after fire, earthquakes, and severe weather. These shocks did not produce a clean design, they produced the monastery's fortress-like form. From across the valley, the complex seems fused to the mountain. Close up, that single mass breaks into rooms, stairs, flat roofs, courtyards, kitchens, and stores. These are not decorative additions. They hold the work that keeps belief active: study, ritual, cooking, cleaning, maintenance, and the daily movement of food and supplies. Key belongs to the Gelug school of Tibetan Buddhism and trains monks from Spiti. Residence and teaching make the ridge an institution, not a monument. That institution depends on the valley below. Nearby villages and Kaza provide food, labor, transport, and supplies, while snow, ice, and rockfall can interrupt the climbing road. Altitude turns every delivery and repair into a test of timing. The buildings endure because ordinary work answers the mountain again each day. Key's power is concrete. Faith overlooks Speedy from afar, then works inside the valley every day. The dry image of Tibet collapses into bamboo, rain, and deep river valleys at Medog. Here, the Yarlung Sangpo drops from high plateau country toward the eastern Himalaya, while warm, moisture-laden air feeds broadly forest, waterfalls, tea plots, and low cloud. This is not a softer edge of the plateau. It is a harder contest with water, gravity, and unstable ground. Roads must bite into steep slopes, enter tunnels, cross bridges, then climb again above fast rivers. Rain, landslides, and erosion can undo that work without warning. A short line on the map can therefore stretch into a long delay. Food deliveries slow, medical journeys lengthen, and construction crews wait for a passable road. For tea growers and farmers, the same blockage can decide whether produce picked early reaches a market while it still carries value. Access here is measured in hours recovered from terrain. New roads do more than shorten travel. They shift markets, tourism, forest use, and where settlements can hold. Monpa and Loba communities live inside that change, where greater access brings opportunity and fresh pressure to land shaped by heavy rain. Medog matters because Tibet changes form here. Every road, field, and delivery answers to water. The world's highest mountain carried sacred names long before it carried a survey number. Kumalungma in Tibet and Sagarmatha in Nepal place the peak inside cultures older than the label Mount Everest. British surveyors identified it as Peak 15, and the name Mount Everest followed in the 19th century. A survey label entered the record, but it did not replace local belief. Early British expeditions approached from Tibet. The 1924 attempt by George Mallory and Andrew Irvine remains unresolved in the record. The first confirmed ascent came in 1953 when Tenzing Norgay and Edmund Hillary reached the summit from Nepal. That achievement changed global mountaineering, but the headline hid the labor beneath it. Sherpa guides and other high-altitude workers establish routes, carry loads, fix ropes, maintain camps, and conduct rescues. A summit bid depends on this chain of skill long before a climber steps onto the upper mountain. Below the ice, monasteries, Mani walls, memorials, lodges, and worn trails keep a different archive. Families and villages carry climbing seasons not as legend alone, but as work repeated across generations. Now, commercial crowding, waste, unstable ice, and glacier change press on the same routes. Everest matters when the record leaves the summit and returns to sacred names, working trails, and memory carried across generations. At 4,000 meters, this grassland is not empty. Animals and people keep it working. Across Latang in western Sichuan, yak, Sheep and horses turn pasture into food, income, and local identity. This is Kham, within the Tibetan Cultural Region, not the Tibet Autonomous Region. Its scale comes from rolling grazing land rather than cliffs or sacred lakes. Herding households follow grass, water, and weather through the seasons. Tents, motorcycles, corrals, and permanent homes are combined differently because pastoral life has no single fixed design. Animals set the practical calendar. Grassing must shift, water must be reached, and herds must move before worn ground reduces what the next season can support. That movement now faces harder limits. Winter snow, drought, fencing, concentrated grazing and changing settlement patterns can narrow the routes between one usable pasture and the next. Laitang town supplies what grassland cannot: markets, schools, transport, repairs, and veterinary access. Laitang Shoda Monastery adds a major religious center to the same pastoral network. Horses carry particular weight in local identity and public festivals, but the wider economy rests on quieter routines, checking animals, repairing gear, and judging weather before movement. Laitang is not untouched space. It is inhabited pasture where moving herds mark daily work, and every restricted route changes where families and animals can go. Small town in a cold desert carries the daily weight of an entire valley. At roughly 3,600 meters, Kaza concentrates fuel, food, repairs, and government work beside the Spiti River. Roads branch toward Kikibur, Langza, Hikim, Komik, and other high settlements. Before supplies climb farther, they are bought, loaded, fixed, or stored here. The town matters more than its size suggests. Bare slopes suggest isolation. The depot, workshop, and market show how it is managed. Access itself is unstable. The Manali approach depends on Kunzum Pass opening for the season, while the longer Kinnaur route can be interrupted by snow or rockfall. A blocked road does not merely delay travel, it tightens fuel, food, and building supplies across communities with few alternate routes. Summer adds construction, cafes, guest houses, guides, drivers, and motorcycles. That rush creates income, but it also presses a cold desert for water and leaves more waste. Winter strips away much of the visitor trade. Schools, shops, offices, repairs, and heating needs remain, supported by supplies stored while the roads were open. Kaza gathers the valley's essentials in one place: a fuel pump, bus stand, mechanic, and stocked room. Across Spiti, high settlements stay supplied because one hard-working center keeps goods and repairs moving. Crescent of blue water breaks Chandratul's basin of pale rock, thin air, and almost no shelter. Protected under the Ramsar Convention, the wetland is limited by terrain as much as distance. Known as the Moon Lake, it lies in the cold desert country of Himachal Pradesh. Its crescent shore carries no need for monuments or dense detail. Water and open ground do the work. Reaching it remains a seasonal operation. From the Batal and Kunzum side, the road narrows across rough ground, snowmelt streams, and exposed slopes where weather can change quickly. The final stretch is walked, and camps stay away from the immediate shore. That separation reduces vehicle pressure, overnight activity, and damage at the waterline. Summer briefly builds an economy around the basin. Grazing, driving, cooking, camp work, and trekking return, winter strips nearly all of that movement away. The beauty, therefore, carries a management burden. Thin air and cold nights test people, while waste and damaged meadow plants can remain after a short season of use. The rule is visible at the shoreline. Engines and camps stop short because one crowded summer can leave damage that outlasts the season. Green fields survive in Lee's Dry Valley only where meltwater is steered toward them. Farms, trade, monasteries, and strategic roads share that managed ground. Leh receives little rain, so strips of barley, vegetables, willow, and poplar survive only because channels steer snow and glacier melt across the ground. The valley is not empty, it is managed. Every patch of green depends on water being read, divided, and maintained with precision. Those channels carry meltwater onto fields during the same short, warm season that drives the town's heaviest demand. The old palace, hilltop gompas, stupas, and mud brick homes recall Lee's place on caravan routes linking Kashmir, Tibet, and Central Asia. That trade legacy now shares the valley with guest houses, trekking firms, repair shops, markets, construction and supply traffic, all press on water, roads, and waste handling when fields also need irrigation. Leh is an administrative and military center too, making this valley a strategic road hub as well as a farming landscape. The Indus draws the broad line through Ladakh, but smaller channels decide where homes and crops can hold their ground. The monuments command the skyline, yet Lee's deeper achievement is the daily discipline that turns scarce meltwater into food, shelter, trade, and culture among dry mountains. On the high plateau, yak husbandry connects dairy food, fiber, transport, and cooking fuel through one demanding cycle of work. Milk becomes butter and cheese, hair becomes ropes or textiles, dung dries for stoves where firewood is scarce. No single village contains the whole pattern. Elevation, season, and market routes change the balance of herding, household use, and sale across the plateau. Across pastoral areas, the day is built from physical tasks, moving animals towards seasonal grazing, milking females, repairing corrals, and storing winter fodder. None of it is decorative. Seasonal grazing sets movement, while scarce firewood turns collected dung into a practical fuel reserve. Yak cattle hybrids, such as Dizo and Zomo, may meet different transport or dairy needs, but their use varies by region. Market distance also shapes leverage. Butter, cheese, hair, or other products may stay in the household, pass through local exchange, reach roadside buyers, or move into town markets. The common thread is repetition rather than display. Milk handled, fiber worked, dung dried, and fodder stored for another season. Yak life is not a symbol above daily work. It is the concrete chain joining pasture. Animal, stove, clothing, food, and market. Prayer wheels turn beside market traffic in Shigatse. Nearly 4,000 meters high, the city holds monastery walls, apartment blocks, old lanes, roads, and barley country in the broad Nyangchu Valley. Founded in the 15th century, Tashil Hunpo became the traditional seat of the Panchen Lamas. Golden roofs, halls, and monk quarters anchor religious movement. Yet the monastery does not seal the sacred away. Pilgrims turning prayer wheels share streets with residents buying vegetables, clothes, and valley produce. That overlap defines Shigatse. Faith does not pause commerce, and commerce does not push faith behind a gate. By morning, schools, restaurants, and workshops pull workers into the streets. Transport depots and construction crews then connect this high city to communities across the plateau. Roads carry more than traffic. They move food, fuel, and building material through thin air toward Everest country, where distance and weather make each delivery a hard calculation. The practical pressure is clear. Altitude increases the effort behind ordinary life without reducing a single ordinary need. By evening, small markets still work beside the monastery. Shigatse matters because worship, trade, and errands occupy one city, each dependent on the same roads and hands. Across a high, dry plateau, water appears in a color that seems almost detached from the land. At roughly 4,400 meters, Yamdrok Yamso sends long turquoise arms between ridges, so no single road or pass reveals the whole lake. Kamba La opens one broad section. Farther on, the mountains close again, then release villages, islands, fields, and grazing ground in separate pieces. That broken view matters because the lake is not an empty spectacle. It is one of Tibet's major sacred lakes, marked by prayer flags, offerings, and ritual practice. Yet reverence here must share space with work. Lakeshore households combine herding, limited cultivation, transport, and visitor income on ground where useful pasture and workable soil are scarce. Each family must judge season, road access, grass, and weather with precision. At this altitude, a missed window can narrow both food and earnings. The roads bring trade to isolated settlements, but they also funnel traffic, litter, and strain into a few overlooks. Access creates income, then presses harder on the same shore that supports it. Yamdrok's scale belongs to the plateau, but its shoreline is used household by household. Its force lies in the union of sacred water, working land, animals, and villages. I draw one blunt conclusion: hard work is not the missing ingredient. The labor is skilled, disciplined, and constant. What is missing is bargaining power. The power to keep a fair share of the price, keep a secure home, reach clean water, and survive a bad week without new debt. Roads, ports, barrages, factories, and renovated markets can expand trade. But if workers are pushed from the pavement, fishing grounds, workshop, or home, growth has only moved the pressure downhill. Pakistan's future will not be decided by output alone. It will be decided by who can claim the value created before sunrise and after dark. An economy that keeps essential workers one setback from empty cupboards is not using resilience. It is consuming it. Stay with this series as it follows labor from the first task to the final sale. That is where development reveals who carries the cost and who keeps the reward.